What's up everybody, Corey with Freaky Tech Reviews here. So some very interesting news broke this week because ASUS announced that they're already planning to release their second version of the ROG Ally later in 2024. But with updates finally starting to smooth out the Ally experience just over 6 months later, it kind of makes me feel forgotten as a customer. So while I am excited to see a second generation Ally this year, I do have mixed feelings on it, and one thing that's keeping me from getting too excited about it just yet. This news came from an interview with ASUS's Arnold Su, the VP of Consumer and Gaming PC Group, where he shared with Techlusive that the company has plans for an Ally successor sometime this year in 2024. The first gen Ally sold very well, with almost 500,000 units sold in the first 2 months. But while it was successful, it did have an Achilles heel. Or several. Battery life was and still does leave a lot to be desired, as the Ally eats through battery during heavy gaming sessions. I only like to play mine on turbo mode for performance, so I basically have to keep it in when I want to play, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a handheld console. 40 watt hours is just not enough power to match with the performance of the Ally. In addition to battery performance, the thermals of the Ally would reach uncomfortable levels and sometimes overheat to the point of failure. And this in part led to one of the more well-known problems of the Ally, where the SD card reader was refusing to work in those sweatshop conditions. Now ASUS has addressed this through software and BIOS updates, but I will say that if you play it for a while, it does a great job of replacing your hot water bladder at bedtime. And don't forget those Wi-Fi connectivity issues that plagued the console at launch. With those and many other issues that made for a less than stellar start for the Ally, it has since powered through these issues and become one of the great handheld gaming console systems currently available, as long as we forget about the Z1 version that shouldn't really exist. But even through frustrations, I have still been enjoying the Ally and its performance in either handheld or desktop mode. I recently started really using it because I cannot stay away from Pal World, and the Ally allows me to make sure my pals are never without their leader, or master, or whatever they want to call me. But here we are closing in on February of 2024, only 7 months past the Ally's launch, and still getting things smoothed out when bam, there's a Gen 2 on the horizon. This is where I really have mixed feelings, because I am excited to see a second version and what ASUS has up their sleeve, and I'd like to see what they learned from their first release, but $700 dropped on the first one has me feeling not so great about the next one being here already. However, I can't really complain too much because this is the risk you take as an early adopter. But what can we actually expect from the second generation of the Ally? ASUS has not really shared anything on what they plan for the second console, but I do think that it's easy to expect most of the first gen's issues to be solved with minor upgrades elsewhere. Personally, I don't expect to see a full-fledged Ally 2. I think it's going to be similar to the OLED Steam Deck, where it's virtually the same console but with some upgrades like the OLED screen, better battery size, and maybe a bit more RAM. So for me, I feel like it's going to be more of an Ally 1.5, which will allow ASUS to completely get rid of their Z1 version and drop the price of the Z1 Extreme to something like $500, and then introduce the new console at the price of the old one, or maybe like $800. The first console got ASUS noticed and tested the market, so now I expect this upgrade to perform even better with all the kinks worked out. But I could be totally wrong and ASUS blows me away with a complete second generation of the Ally that's even better than ever. But either way, I plan to keep track of the second gen Ally and the news surrounding it, so be sure to subscribe if you're interested in following this story. And also let me know down in the comments below what you think about this news and if you're excited about it or hesitant. And if you want to like this video as well, that single click goes a long way to help this channel grow. But I really appreciate you being here and watching this video. I just wanted to get a quick one out on it because it is a very interesting subject. But again, I'm Corey with Freaky Tech Reviews. I'll see you next time.